Good afternoon, everybody. Hello. Thank you so much for joining me today for my Silver Swans ballet class in the virtual village hall. Back again. Happy New Year, of course, to everybody as well, because the last time I taught was in December. Please feel free to pop into the comments. Just say hello if you're joining in today. It's always nice to know that there are people out there. So yeah, please feel free to say hello, say whereabouts you're joining in from as well. And today's Silver Swans session, if you haven't done Silver Swans before, this is the perfect class for you to join, because this session is going to be suitable for absolute beginners. So it doesn't matter if you've never done ballet before, or even if it's a long time ago since you last joined in a ballet class. We're going to go through everything from the start, explaining positions of the feet, positions of the arms, a few basic steps. I've themed today's session around the ballet of Sleeping Beauty. Very famous ballet. Everybody knows the story of Sleeping Beauty. We've got some music from Sleeping Beauty throughout the class, and also we're going to finish off the lesson learning a little bit of repertoire from inspired by the ballet Sleeping Beauty from the mazurka, which is sometimes called mazurka, sometimes it's called the coda. But it's a really lovely piece of music. Anyway, just a short little sequence. Hello, got comments starting to come in now. Thank you so much for joining me today. Just before we get started, if you want to pop, just check, that your space is clear of any obstacles, check the dogs out the way and things like that. And also you will need something to use as a ballet bar for the session. I just use a chair, which is absolutely fine. Just make sure it's something sturdy that won't wobble over. Check that your flooring is suitable. Just check that the footwear that you're wearing isn't making it slippy. And we'll get started. We always start off with 2 warm-ups. The first warm-up just gets us moving, and the second warm-up then is specifically for your feet. They're nice and easy to follow along with, not really ballet specific, just gets us moving, just gets us warm, which we definitely need. Don't know what you're like where you are. I'm based in Manchester, but we've obviously had snow, so we need to get warm today. So let's get started with our warm-up. Just adjust my camera. There we go. Right, so we're going to start off by walking around the room. If you haven't got enough space to walk around the room, you can always just walk on the spot. Let's get started. Okay, walking round. Okay, now taking your hands slowly up, keep walking round, just getting your arms moving, and arms up, and down, and arms up, and down, everybody into the middle, feet together, hands in front, and we're just going to bend and stretch, nice big bend and stretch, bend and stretch, bend and stretch, bend and stretch, taking both hands behind you, and into the middle, both hands behind you, and into the middle, now swaying to the side, bend and stretch, and bend and stretch, and bend and stretch, just keeping your arms moving. One more sway, feet together, breathing in and breathing out. Okay, great. Okay, so we always start off with that first warm-up. If you've ever done my Silver Swans sessions before, you'll know that warm-up. Even in my Silver Swans classes that I teach on Zoom, I teach weekly sessions, Silver Swans classes on Zoom, that's our warm-up. We always do that warm-up. Okay. And our second warm-up is specifically for our feet. We're just getting the different parts of our feet moving. Definitely need it for, like I said, for this cold weather. So we're going to use our ballet bar for this. We're going to check that we're just standing correctly at our bar now. So if you're too far away, your elbows are straight. If you're too close, your elbows will be bent. We want them to just have a nice soft curve. And we're just going to stand with our feet together. Take a moment, think about your posture. Nice long neck. We talk so much about our posture in ballet and in Silver Swans as well. So because Silver Swans is specially designed for the over 55s, And it can really help to improve your posture, your mobility, your coordination, and your energy levels. So it's a whole body workout. We're thinking about which way our arms and legs are going and all the time. But like I said, posture. I always find posture and balance are the two main things that we talk a lot about in Silver Swans, and it really does help improve them. So imagine that your head is like a helium balloon floating upwards and your feet are the weight. So we've got like a two-way stretch. So we're lifting upwards, shoulders down, nice long neck, but your feet are remaining nice and grounded. And that has set us up correctly for the rest of our ballet class. Okay, so we're going to go through the different parts of our feet now. Keeping your toes on the floor, we're going to lift our heels. So you've got a nice crease in your shoe there. Going to a point, demi-point and down. Same with the other leg, to a point, demi-point and down. Same again, demi-point, to a point, demi-point and down. We call that our demi-point because demi meaning half. So it's half a pointed foot. So we do that 4 times. Then we're going to point our foot, flex our foot, point our foot and close. Pointing, flexing. When you point it, try and ripple through and close. It will get your foot working even more, get the mobility going in your feet. And close, and pointing, and flexing, and pointing, and closing. So all we're going to do, just a nice simple warm-up just for our feet, getting the different parts of our feet moving, helping the foot mobility and the foot strength as well. Let's get started. Off we go, and demi-point to a point, demi-point and down, other leg, to a point, demi-point and down, demi-point to a point, demi-point and down. Now pointing and flexing, point and flexing, and point and closing in, and a point, and flex, and point, and close, pointing and flexing, pointing and closing. Feel free to sing along if you want to. So that is our warm-up done. Hopefully it's just got you moving. We're going to do our first official exercise at the bar now. So these are called pliés, plié meaning to bend. Before we do though, I'm going to go through the positions of the feet in ballet. If you have done ballet before, hopefully these positions will all come flooding back to you. And if you've never done ballet before, you can learn them. There's 5 positions of the feet that we have in ballet. We're going to use 3 of these 5 today. So I'll just teach you the first 3. If you just stand with your feet together. Now in ballet, we always stand with our feet turned out. And that rotation comes from your hips. So keeping your heels together, turn the whole of your leg outwards and your toes turn away from each other. It should feel comfortable. We're not forcing our turn out round. It should, if you look down, it should look like a right angle. Or if you were standing on a clock, 10 to 2, 5 to 1. Just nice and comfortable. We should still be able to keep our posture. If you need to make it smaller, then that's absolutely fine. It's whatever is correct for you. Of course, in this class, everything that I suggest, feel free to modify anything. Only do what you know is safe for you to do. So feet in first position. If you now keep your feet turned out and put a little space between your feet, that's feet in second position. Just take a moment, check that your feet are matching. Check that they're turned out the same. Be careful that you're not leaning on one leg more than the other. We want to have our weight absolutely in the middle and both feet turned out identical. And that's second position. So we've got first position. And if you point your foot to the side and lower it down in second, that's how we move to our next position, which is second. If you close back into first position, for a moment. Now slide one of your feet across in front of the other foot. So now the heel of your front foot has come in contact with the middle of your back foot. That's third position. And we can have third position with either foot in front. Okay, so let's do the list. 3 of the 5 positions of ballet. We have feet in first position, feet in second position, and if you close it in front, we've also got feet in third position. Okay, there you go. 3 of the 5 positions of ballet. It's a very historical dance form, learnt in the first under 10 minutes. There we go. So, if you turn to face your ballet bar now, and we'll take our plie. So we'll start off with our feet in first position. Think about what we said about our posture and how close or far away you should be from your ballet bar. Nice long necks, shoulders down. Be careful you're not looking down. Right, we're going to take our plies now. So plie means to bend. We're just going to bend our knees and stretch them. I'll just turn to face the camera so you can see. So I'm bending my knees. I'm making like a diamond shape with my legs, and then I'm stretching. Your heels need to stay on the floor for a plie. So if that means that your demi-plie is only this big, or if it means it's huge, that's correct. It's set by the tightness in your Achilles tendon. So for some people, it might only be small. Some people, it might be bigger. We just want to make sure our heels stay on the floor. We bend our knees to wherever our natural body's facility can take us to, and then we stretch our legs. So bending and stretching and bending and stretching. Let's go to second position. Lowering down in second. Check your weights in the middle. Check your feet are matching. Bending and stretching. So your knees are going out to the sides. And stretching and pointing your foot. Closing it in front into third position. Same in third. Demi-plie. And stretching all the time. We're thinking about keeping a nice straight back. So be careful your back doesn't swing behind you. Imagine you're balancing something on your head. Bending and stretching. Then we'll go back to second position for 2 more demi-plies in second. So we've got demi-plies in first, demi-plies in second, demi-plies in third, and then we go back to second to finish off. And all the time, it's a smooth movement in that plie, and we're keeping our back nice and straight. We're not swinging our back forwards. Okay, let's give it a go. Feet in first. It's a lovely calm start to the class whenever we do a plie. Okay. And we've got some music to Sleeping Beauty as well to really get you in that feel of the theme of the class today. And demi-plie, 1. And stretch. Second demi-plie. And stretch. Now let's go to second position. Lowering down in second. Just check your feet are turned out the same and your weights in the middle. Plie. Knees out to the sides. Plie. And stretch. Now let's close into third position. So just close it in front. Thinking about lifting up, nice long necks. 1. And stretch. 2. And stretch. Let's go back to second position. Lowering down. Legs nice and straight. Weight in the middle. And 2 more just to finish off. And stretch. Knees out to the sides. Heels on the floor. Closing into first position to finish off. Okay, good. Right, we've done our plies. Let's do now our battement tendus. And for battement tendus, we're going to do this with one hand on the ballet bar. So if you want to turn around and face your computer screens, if you haven't been doing, and adjust your chair, or you might need to adjust your laptop if you need to. So, feet in first position. We're going to stand with one hand on the ballet bar now. Check that this hand is in front of you. So if you pop your hand on the bar and then just take a little step backwards, so away from your computer. And what that means is your hand is in front of you, which means we can keep a nice long neck. Our shoulders are nice and square. We're not twisting. I'll just demonstrate what I mean. If I stand too far forward, you can see here how my shoulders have twisted. And that's going to obviously affect my balance. I won't be able to perform the steps correctly. So feet in first, hands in front of you. Your other hand, we're just going to pop it onto our hip. Again, try and get your elbow out to the side rather than having it backwards, because you can see my shoulders are twisted again there. So elbow to the side, we can really work on our posture in this position. We have our leg furthest away from our bar, which we call our outside leg. We're going to use that leg for this exercise. So this is a battement tendu. It sounds quite complicated. Honestly, it's not. We're just pointing and closing our feet. So pointing it to the front and closing it into first. We're going to point the same foot again, but to the side, to the side, and closing into first. The same leg again, but we're going to go to the back and closing into first. Then because we've had our legs so straight, we'll take a demi-plie and stretch. Now we'll reverse to the back, same leg again, into first, to the side, and into first, then to the front, into first, demi-plie, and stretch. So there's 3 directions that we can take battement tendus in ballet, and that's to the front, to the side, and to the back. And you just learn all 3 of them there. We want to keep our legs nice and straight all the time. Your foot slides out. We lengthen our leg away from us. It's like it's growing into a pointed foot, and then it melts back into first. Okay, we've got another piece of music from Sleeping Beauty. Let's do our battement tendus. I'll throw in the French terms as we're going along. So feet in first. Okay, so we'll point it to the front and close, to the side and close, to the back and close, demi-plie and stretch. So to the back we call that derrière, to the side we call that à la seconde, to the front is devant and close, demi-plie and finish. Okay, good. So we've worked one leg, we need to work the other leg. So if you want to swap your chair over, so you can still keep following along with the screen, or if you're on a fixed unit, so maybe like a kitchen counter or something, you can always move your laptop to the other side, because now your other leg is your outside leg, and that's the one we're going to work. Let's do our battement tendus with our other leg now. Off we go, to the front and close, to the side and close, to the back and close, demi-plie. So we want to point it behind your hip and your shoulder and close, straight to the side and close, to the front, straight forwards and close, demi-plie and stretch. Okay. We're going to do a step called a battement fondu. And by the way, if you do want to have a drink of water whenever you want to in the session, please feel free to. I'm just going to have a very quick drink. Okay. Right. There we go. So, our next exercise is called battement fondu. You're probably thinking of cheese and chocolate. You'd be right to think of cheese and chocolate. Fondue meaning to melt. But a battement fondu, it's the melting of our knees. A melted beat, it literally translates as. So we're going to use our feet in third position for this exercise. Doesn't matter which other foot you want to start off with in front. I'm starting with my right foot. Always, if you can follow along as a mirror image, it always works out nice and straightforward. Okay. So fondu is like your demi-plie. I'll turn to face the camera. It's like your demi-plie, but as you fondu, you're going to lift up your front foot so your little toe touches your ankle bone. It's hard for coordination because, excuse me, because you're bending your knees, and at the same time as you're bending your knee, you're also lifting your foot. So there's like 2 different directions going on at the same time. And then we stretch as it lowers. So we're bending and lifting and stretching as it lowers. Exactly the same rules as what we were thinking about for our pliés. Nice straight backs, knees going over your toes, keeping it nice and smooth. So feet in third. So we'll take 2 battement fondus, lifting and lowering and lifting and lowering. We're going to take a battement tendu to second. So that foot that's just been lifting, it's going to point it to the side and close it in at the back. And we should now have our feet in third with the other foot in front. Fondu and stretch and fondu, knees going over your toes and pointing, closing in the back. Then we're going to reverse that. So we're going to now do battement fondue derriere. So this is your back foot that's lifting with your foot going to your ankle at the back. Fondue and stretch, keeping it nice straight back. Fondue and stretch. The foot that's been lifting, point it to the side, close it in front. Fondue and stretch. Fondue and stretch. And pointing, closing it in front. Don't be too worried about swapping over your feet. Whether you've got the right foot or the wrong foot, we just want to swap our feet. As I often say to my silver swans, when it comes around to a more complicated exercise, if it starts to go wrong, just keep going. Just keep bending and stretching. Swap your feet over. You'll pick it back up again. It's fine. Don't think, oh, it's all gone wrong. Just keep bending and stretching and just swap your feet over. Whichever foot you'll use, you'll end up with the other foot in front and it should keep flowing fine. If you are struggling and you find it uncomfortable doing it in turnout, you can take this exercise in parallel. So you can bend your knees and lift up your foot in parallel, just to the side of your ankle. Okay, so let's take our battement fondues now. Fondue meaning to melt. Now you see why it's called battement fondue. Feet in bed. Start a little bit closer to your bar for this exercise because you will travel a bit further back and then you'll travel a bit further forwards. Let's go. And lifting up your front foot, 1, and stretch, 2, and stretch, pointing that foot to the side, and closing it in at the back. Now we should hopefully have the other leg in front. Front foot, little toe to your ankle, and stretch, fondue, and stretch, pointing, and closing it in the back. Now let's use that same leg again. We're going to lift our back foot and closing and fondue and stretch, fondue and close in front. One last time with your back foot and fondue, 1 and stretch, fondue and stretch. Pointing your foot to the side and close it in front. And we'll finish off there. Okay. So not music from Sleeping Beauty for that, but we've got a little bit of Brahms. So still a very beautiful piece of music. We're going to do grand battements now, which is our last exercise at the bar. Grand battement is really good for improving your flexibility and mobility. So feet in first position. We're going to do this with one hand on the bar, just like we did for our battement tendues. It is like an extension of a battement tendu. I'll turn to face the side slightly so you can see. I'm going to point my foot to the front. I'm going to lift it in the air, point and close. It's up to you how high you want to take that leg lift, but just providing we keep our legs nice and straight. You can take it as just a tiny little lift off the floor if you want to. You can take it a little bit higher, but we want our legs to stay nice and straight. That's a preparation for a grand battement. A proper grand battement, a true grand battement actually has a swish, point, close. So we're going to connect together the first two movements. We're going to swish it and then point, close. Swish, point, close. So what we want to make sure is that the leg is fully extending before it lifts into the air. Don't let it just appear in the air. It goes swish, point, close. You can see how it's related to the tendu now. We're a little bit further into the bar. We're a little bit more warmed up. Legs start flying higher. And grand battement is one of those. So swish, point, close. So we're going to use our outside leg first. We're going to take 3 grand battements. 1 and point and close. A second one. A third grand battement. From there, we're going to take a little rise. Now, if you want to just do it as a little lift of your heels and lower down, that's absolutely fine. If you want to go all the way up to your demi point, we just want to make sure our ankles are staying nice and strong and we're not going onto our little toes. Think of your weight placement being between your second and fourth toes. Okay, so it's nice and square in the middle. We'll go with the other leg. Swish and a point and a close. So we're using our inside leg. Swish and point and close. And swish and a point and a close. Little rise and down. Let's take our grand battements, which translates as big beats. Okay, feet in first. Off we go, and a swish, and a point, and a close. Second one. Third grand battement. Now into your rise, you're still thinking about your posture, like we discussed at the beginning of the class. And other leg. And tanju and close. Think of your head as floating up. Stay nice and lifted, it frees up the movement in the hips. One more rise. And we'll finish. Okay. Good. Put your ballet bars away, have a quick drink of water, and then we'll come into the centre. While you're having your quick drink as well, please feel free to pop into the comments as well. I've already seen a few of you who've already started saying whereabouts you're joining in from. If you've joined us a little bit later, hello, thank you for joining me today. Let me know where you're joining in from. Have you done ballet before? Is this your first Silver Swans class? Let me just pop my chair away. Okay, and then I'll have a quick drink. Okay. So the first exercise coming into the centre that we're going to do is called a port de bras. Port de means carriage of, and your bras is your arm. So this is the moment in the class where the dancer can really work on their arm positions, arm placements. It's one of my favourite exercises to do, actually. I always get beautiful music for it. So this is music from Sleeping Beauty that we're going to use for our port de bras. So let's get started. Feet in first position. Let me go through the positions of the arms in ballet. We have arms, I'll come a bit closer so that you can see. Arms in bras bar. So bras bar is like an oval shape. Just pull down my sleeves so you can see even more. There we go. Right now you can very clearly see. Arms in bras bar. Bras bar is an oval shape. Your elbows are pointing to the sides. You've got this nice space here. Your hands are about as wide apart as your face, so we don't want them touching and we don't want them out here. And as we've discussed throughout the class today, a nice long neck, shoulders down. Think about your posture. Feel as though you're lifting up and growing taller all the time. Okay, so that's bras bar. Keeping your arms the same shape. I'll just turn to face the side to show you this. We're going to lift our arms up so they're opposite your waist. And we call that first position. It's like you've got your arms around a big beach ball. So just have a look at your arms. Just check, are they a nice round shape or are your elbows drooping? Again, hands about as wide apart as your face, elbows lifted. We'll keep our arms going all the way up, keep them the same shape. And now they should be just slightly in front of us. So it's not directly up above your head. It's just a little bit in front. And we call that arms in fifth. So I've skipped ahead a few positions there. But it's just because they're the same shape. So we have bras bar, first position, fifth position. Go back to first just for a moment now and take your arms out sideways. I'll just show you. So my arms definitely aren't going behind me. We never take our arms behind us in ballet because it would affect your balance and your posture. You take your arms straight out to the side and then just slightly curve them in front, like you're about to go into a big hug, a big wide hug. That's your arms in second position. So we've gone slightly out of order there. Preparatory, arms in bras bar. Arms first, arms second. Now, if you bring one arm back across to first, that's actually third position now. And we're going to use third position at the start of this port de bras. I'll just move to the side a bit. There we go. Arms third to third. And you can swap your arms. It's a lovely, I love doing arms third to third. And that's how our port de bras is going to begin. Preparing your arms first and out to third. We're going to do 3 sways with our arms. 1 and 2 and 3, and then we're going to hold. 1 and 2 and 3. Open your arms to second. Now, don't forget about the hold. I know with my my regular Silver Swans that I teach on Zoom, anything I do, it's always 3 and then hold on the count of 4. It's always remembering to hold on the 4th count. So 1 and 2 and 3, hold. 1 and 2 and 3, open your arms out. We're going to do a big port de bras with one hand. Bra bar first and up to 5th. We've actually just gone through 4th position there. So there you go, you just learned all the 5 arm positions. The other hand, and I want you to imagine that you're throwing some petals into the air at that moment. You can really lift that arm. You're going to have lots of fun doing it. Da, dan, dan, dan. And then we're going to point our foot. And we're going to use these arms again, but add in some sways this time. So a sway, let's talk about the legs for a moment. You now know that a sway is actually passing through a demi-plie in 2nd position. And we're taking a transfer of weight. That's when we're being very technically analysing some sways. So with your arms in 3rd, when we go to the right, your arms go to the right. 1 and 2 and 3, and we'll hold. 1 and 2 and 3, and we'll hold. Close your feet into 1st position. We're going to take our arms all the way down, all the way up, opening out and down. Okay, so we're going through lots of different arm positions there. Seems quite complicated, but when you hear it with the music, it makes so much sense. Let's just go through it one more time. Just your arms. 1, 2, 3, and hold, and 1, 2, 3. Throw the petals in the air. 2, 3, 4. So we just do it with one hand to begin. And then we go into the more complicated version. So we add in the legs. 1 and 2 and 3. And hold, and 1 and 2 and 3. And both hands. All the way up. Opening out and down. So at the very end, you can imagine you throwing even more petals into the air. Let's have a go with music. I'm sure you'll have lots of fun dancing along with this, and I'm sure you'll recognise the music from Sleeping Beauty as well. Feet in first, hands in bra bar. Okay. So just take a moment, think about your posture. Arms, prepare, and 1, 2, 3, and hold, and 1, 2, 3. Circle your hands, and the other hand. Let's take our sways now, and 1, 2, 3, and hold. 1, 2, 3, and hold, and port de bras. Opening out and down. Okay, good. So that's got our arms moving now. I'm going to go on to our repertoire now. As I said at the beginning of the session today's theme is Sleeping Beauty. And we're going to learn a little sequence I've put together that's inspired by the choreography from the mazurka in Sleeping Beauty. Sometimes it's called the mazurka, sometimes it's known as the coda. It's obviously, the musical style is a mazurka. So it's more of a national dance style. We've got some quite national dance arms and footwork to think about instead. If I just quickly explain to you, if you put your left hand onto your hip and your right hand is going to go out with your palm up like we're presenting over there. And we're going to swoop your hand across your body and then open it out. It's almost making like a figure of 8 shape. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Yeah, have a go with your other hand as well, because we do need it with both hands. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, That's the arms for the first section learnt. All done. Let's do our footwork now. So I'm going to begin in your upstage left corner. So if you've danced before or you're an actor, it's exactly the same stage directions. When we talk about stage directions in ballet, it's as the dancer or the actor is stood on the stage. It's not as the audience is viewing them. To make it nice and easy, I teach as a mirror image. So if you go to the same side of the screen as I do, then it should work out okay. But at the end of the day, fit it in your space however you want to. If you want to walk around in a completely different direction, you can do, just providing you're still enjoying the session. So we have the right side of the room, we have the left side of the room. If you take a step to the left, so if you go to the same side of the room as me, and now take a step away from your laptop. So we're now in our upstage left corner. If you imagine that your laptop or your iPad is your audience. There you go. So I'm your audience. Hello. We're going to make our entrance on now into the middle of the stage. We're going to take 4 walks. Try and start with your right foot first. Right, left, right, left. And we're going to go then into 4 sways, going to the right, to the left, to the right, to the left. They do move at quite a pace, those sways. And we're going to add these arms in. So left hand on your hip. Every walk has an arm movement. So let's start off with our right foot first. Right and left and right and left. Sway to the right, sway to the left, sway to the right, sway to the left. Let's just have a listen to the music and you'll hear how that fits in. This is your introduction. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, and sway, 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 sway. Okay, so you can hear it does move at quite a pace. If you don't like those sways being so fast, just do the arms. It's absolutely fine. Like I said, feel free to modify the session to what you know you feel comfortable doing and fit it in your space however you can do. Okay, so let's go again from the beginning. Right, left, right, and left, and sway, and sway, and sway, and sway. This hand that's across in front of you now is going to go up to 5th position. And then we're going to swap. Okay, so 1 and hold and swap and hold. It's a real flourish at that moment. Like I said, it's a mazurka style of dance, very strong style of dance. Your foot that's been pointed, you're going to close it into 1st position. You can take a little bend and stretch. A lot of time mazurka style dances, you know, the dancers would have like little boots on, little heels. So it would be a flick. And so it comes in at the same time as the arm. We go 1. And then we're going to go with the other hand. You can even repeat that little step with the other foot as well if you want to. It's like, here I am, here I am. Okay, so from the beginning, 4 walks. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and sway. And 2 and 3 and 4 and stand. And stand. We're going to walk round, off to the right, and we're going to go to the opposite corner. So where we started on our left side, we're going to go round to the right. So walking round to the right, walking round, you can imagine that you're on the stage and we're walking, now we're on the other side. Like I said, don't get too worried about the directions. If you follow along with me as a mirror image, it should be fine, but providing you're enjoying dancing it and moving to the music, that's what's important. We're going to repeat again now with the left leg. Left and right and left and right. Okay, so you can see how it feeds into the other side. Let's go again from the very beginning one more time. And in fact, I think we'll have a go with music. We'll just go up to where we go, up to this corner, and just so you can have a practice with music, and then we'll talk about the second side. Okay, let's go. Right foot, right, left, sway, 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 foot, and hand, hand. And let's walk around. Okay, we repeat it on the other side. Left hand, left leg. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And we sway and sway and sway and sway. Then we stand and hand. Okay? So it's a complete repeat on the other side, but then it changes because at this moment, your hand that's raised, bam, bam, which you've got your right hand raised, hopefully. If it has worked out as a complete mirror image, don't worry if it haven't. We're going to turn to whichever hand you've got raised. Your footwork is going to be what we call a ball change. If you've done tap dancing before, you'll know your ball changes from tap. It's 1 foot flat and the other foot on the ball of your foot. We're going to step onto the back foot slightly and then go onto your front foot again. Up, down, up, down, up, down. So I'm doing a slight bend on my knee. Ball change, ball change. So I'm stepping onto the ball of my foot. I'll turn to face this way. Back, front, back, front, back, front. I always say it's a little bit like you've got a sore big toe. You're going to step onto your big toe and you go, oh, no. That's the best way I can use to describe a ball change. Back, front, back, front, back, front, back, front. And that's the step we're going to use. We're going to take our ball changes with our arm up. You can keep it facing the front if you want to, or you can turn that ball change, turn towards your arm that's raised. 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't worry about the counts. Just take as many ball changes as you want to take. You might want to take lots of little ones. You might want to keep them on the beat. And then at the very end, you'll hear a chord. Your foot that's at the back, we're going to bring it to the front. And imagine that you're doing another stamp. Just be careful, obviously, if you are in soft shoes. At that moment, your other hand is also going to flick up and we make our big ending position. Like I said, you can feel it's a very grand piece of music. It's a mazurka, and you can hear that in the music. You know, it's not sounding like Sugar Plum Fairy music. So let's just go on that second side where we went with our left leg on the repeat. So we went left and right and left and right, and we sway and sway and sway and sway. Lift your hand. Lift your hand. Turning round, bam, 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 and finish. Okay, I think we could pick it up halfway through, please. Yeah, and let's do that little section with music. So from the walks using your left leg, the bit we've just done basically. Okay, are we ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, sway. Sway, sway, sway. Hands. Hand, let's turn. Get ready. Are you ready? You can hear that ending in the music. Dun, dun. Right, let's have a go from the very beginning now. So we come on with our right. We do our walks, we do our sways. We stamp our hand, flick our hands up, stamp our feet. Repeat it on the other side. At the very end, we have our little ball changes. And these are all steps that appear within this mazurka. I've just put it into a little short enchaînement, we call it, which is like a short sequence. So I hope you've enjoyed learning it. Let's have a go at dancing this through. Our Sleeping Beauty mazurka. Right hand, right foot. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sway, sway, sway. Sway, hand and foot, hand and foot. Let's walk around. Repeat with the left, left, 2, 3, 4. Sway, 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 sway and foot. Use your hand. Ball change, turning. 2, 3. Well done. Good. Let's finish off now with our curtsy and cool down. The curtsy and bow. We've got any gentlemen joining in with us today. You can take it as a bow. So feet in first, gentlemen. You'll just take your bow, feet together, and a bow. You wish to take a curtsy. Pop your foot at the back on the ball of your foot, like from your ball change position. And we can just take a little bend and stretch, and a little bend and stretch. If you do find that position not very steady, you can take it with your feet in third. We'll just follow, if you just want to follow along, and I'll talk you through the cool down, which has our curtsies and bows in the middle of it. So feet together, and we're just going to focus on our breathing. With some more music from Sleeping Beauty. And breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Let's take our curtsies and bows. Curtsies and bows. Okay, just walking around your space like we did at the beginning. If you haven't got enough space to walk around, you can always walk on the spot. Breathing in. Breathing out, really focusing on your breathing. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. And breathing out. Well done, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you so much, everyone. If you've got any questions, please feel free to pop them into the comments. I'll go through afterwards and answer any questions you've got. And if you'd like any more details about my online Silver Swans classes as well, I'll pop some details in the comments as well. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a lovely week. Bye.